Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right, nearly a week into this 2023 MLB regular season, and this pitch clock is unreal for how much faster it is making baseball. The shortest game we have seen so far this year is an hour and 57 minutes, and that game only ended up being a one-run game, with the Miami Marlins giving the Minnesota Twins their first loss of the season. Now, within the first week of this 2023 season, teams are scoring runs at an alarming rate, because last year, within the first week of the season, 5 teams were scoring 5 runs a game, but that was without the pitch clock. With the addition of this pitch clock, 12 teams are now scoring 5 or more runs a game. 6 of those teams are scoring 6 or more runs, and the highest scoring team in the league right now is the Tampa Bay Rays, scoring 7 runs per game. Now, even though it is the start of the season, and as the season is going to progress, some of these teams' numbers right now in scoring is going to slowly diminish, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the runs are going to continue to stay like this, and we're going to see scoring for the MLB at an all-time high because of this new pitch clock. Now, as for the Tampa Bay Rays, they are off to the hottest start and the strongest start for themselves in the MLB this year. They have a 6-0 record, and they just beat the Washington Nationals earlier today, beating them 7-2 and completing the sweep. The Tampa Bay Rays are really good right now because they are first in nearly everything. They are tied for first in home runs at 13. They have the most scored runs with 44, and nobody is slugging better than them, having a slugging percentage of .548. With the way that the Tampa Bay Rays have started this season at 6-0, having a plus 31 run differential, averaging 7.3 runs per game, the Tampa Bay Rays are going to have a huge advantage because of who they are playing at the start of the season. Because based on who they're playing, 5 of their first 6 series, they are playing the five of the worst teams from last year. The only team that they're not playing, that was last place in their division last year, are the Kansas City Royals. The Tampa Bay Rays have a huge advantage to jump out to a large lead in their division and the league itself because of that. And with how the Rays are playing, and playing the easiest schedule to start the season out of everybody, there's a good chance that the Tampa Bay Rays could actually start the season with a record along the lines of 15-4 or 17-2, along the lines of those. And the next series and the next game that they are going to be playing will be against the Oakland A's, starting this Friday at 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, with the Tampa Bay Rays leading the way in the MLB, the Central Division in the NHL finally got some teams to clinch a spot in the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. And these teams are the top 3 teams in this division that have been battling against each other for first place all year long. And the teams are the Minnesota Wild, and they clinched at 98 points with a record of 23-10. Then the Dallas Stars clinched their spot also with 98 points, having a record of 42-21-14. Then the last team of the 3 that clinched a spot in these 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs are the defending champions, the Colorado Avalanche, and they clinched the playoff spot at 98 points as well, having a record of 46-24-6. And San Jose almost made them wait a little bit longer because they almost beat them, because they had to play Colorado into overtime, but Colorado ended up beating them 4-3. In the NHL last night, there were 11 games played, and 5 of those games came within 1 goal. But the game that you wanted to watch was the LA Kings versus the Edmonton Oilers, and Leon Draisaitl ended up leading the way in this game, helping the Oilers beat the Kings 3-1. And because of the Oilers beating the Kings in this game, the Oilers have jumped ahead of the Kings and are now ahead of them in the division by 1 point. With Leon Draisaitl, he is on a hot streak right now because he now has back-to-back 3-point games and led his team to the victory last night. But even for how great Leon Draisaitl is playing, for him having 120 plus points, everyone's eyes, it don't matter who it is, if you're watching hockey, everyone's eyes is on Connor McDavid right now because he is 3 points away from notching 150 points on the season. This is unreal for what Connor McDavid is doing because scoring is so much harder nowadays and getting points in general too. And he's about to get 150 in the hardest and toughest scoring era that the NHL has ever seen. Now, Connor McDavid has 147 points right now, and if and when he gets 150 points, he will be he will have the 17th season for any player that have ever hit 150 points in a season, and he's going to be, if he hits it, the 6th player in NHL history to ever hit 150. And the last time that player hit 150 points in a season was 27 years ago, and the guy that got it was legendary Pittsburgh Penguin Mario Lemieux, and he ended up getting 161 points that season in 1995-96 season. Now, with this Edmonton Oilers Kings game, the Kings started this game off super strong because they were walking all over the Oilers, living in their territory, blocking most of their shots and keeping the Oilers stale. But the way that the Oilers got going was their hitting power, and that was what got their momentum going, and it helped. But because it made it caused the LA Kings to slow down, which gave the Oilers an easier chance to slip through their defense. And because of it, the Oilers were able to break the seal of the game, scoring first. But here's the thing. The scoring in this game didn't happen until the very end of the game because Edmonton scored 2 of their 3 goals at the end of the 3rd period, and all 3 of their goals came in an easier fashion than normal. All 3 of their goals came off either a power play or an empty netter. And with this victory, the Oilers are now the 8th team in the league to notch 100 points on the season, and they now have 101, and they have 4 games left to play. And with Connor McDavid having 147 points, and we're waiting for him to hit 150, him having 4 games left, I say he's going to end this season with 154 points. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.